Hey, it's Matt Stephenson, and I am at my very first B-Sides, and we're here with Thom Langford, a CISO and also sole founder of Host Unknown. Thom, one thing I want to talk with you about, we haven't touched on so much security-wise, is risk, which is a little more your specialty. Given all the activity we've seen this year, specifically with WannaCry, some of the other things going on, how is risk played differently than a lot of the other security topics people seem to be focusing on?
I think risk is very often seen as a really bad thing. It's seen as something that has to be fixed, it has to be squashed, it has to have the tick in the box next to it. When actually, one of the perfectly acceptable things to do is to accept risk, is to actually understand what the risk is, accept it and move on. As long as you're cognizant of what those risks are in whatever activity is, that's okay. I think we very often in the security world think of ourselves as special flowers, as I like to call us, thinking that because we say there's a risk that it has to be gotten rid of and we stop the business as a result. Actually, we're just one voice of many. The General Counsel, for instance, provides a legal perspective. The CFO provides a financial perspective. We're just one of those perspectives that go into the whole decision-making activity.
So as long as your department is risk-aware as opposed to risk-averse, you're kind of taking the handcuffs off of not just the security side, but the network in general.
Yeah, absolutely. Because if you're going to spend, if you're going to potentially make significantly more money than you could possibly lose, through a security risk, then why would you stop doing that activity? As I say, all too often, it does put the handbrakes on things. We have, approval committees, risk approval committees or activity approval committees that say, yes, you can do this activity, no, you can't. That's the wrong way to do it. These should be, risk assessment committees that actually provide context and dialogue on the activity itself.
And once you end up having all 28 people sign off on something, it doesn't matter because you moved on to the next thing.
Yeah, exactly.
So looking at what's happening in the future, we know that there's a lot of bad guys out there with access to literally warfare-grade cyber weapons. As long as you are willing to take the risks, and by being willing to take them, you are ready to handle what comes next. Does that put you in a better position as a company? Does it weaken your stance? How does that affect your overall security?
I think if it's done properly, it can put you in a strong position. If you look at the NHS recently, that was the National Health Service that was attacked by significantly by the WannaCry virus because they were running Windows XP machines everywhere that didn't have a patch for it. That was potentially a perfectly acceptable decision to save money, by not upgrading those machines, meant that they could provide maybe 2,000 extra beds and 50 extra doctors that would have actually saved lives. For the sake of 2 or 3 days disruption, which they now have to address, but actually that was the right decision potentially based on the risks that they saw them at the time.
When what's a quote from Henry Ford, if you need something and don't pay for it, eventually you'll find you've paid for it and don't have it?
Yeah, exactly, precisely.
So looking to the future for you as far as, weighing the risk of what's coming down the road, knowing that we kind of know what we don't know, but we also don't know what we don't know. What are the risks that would be, you think, willing to take acceptable levels in order to prepare yourself for what may be coming next?
I think that's very, very dependent upon the environment. I mean, we should all be, practicing, cyber hygiene fundamentals, blah blah blah, all that sort of thing. Yeah, obviously we should be patching stuff wherever. But if there's a significant decision that might affect your security stance, then take that decision in the context of the entire business or the entire environment, as well as looking into the future as much as you can. But what we shouldn't be doing is battening down the hatches and stopping innovation and stopping growth and closing the business down effectively for something that may or may not affect us, or if it does affect us, may not affect us as much as we thought, or whatever. So you can't deal with those levels of unknowns. Just do what is right for the business at the time.
And just be ready.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously have plans in place that you can actually then do something when it happens.
All right, so folks that are looking to find out more information from you, keeping up on what's happening, the latest risky behavior, where can they go?
I'm on Twitter at Thom Langford, and on the blog at thomlangford.com.
And if you need some giant sign saying where they're available. And as always, you can find me at PacMat73, so stick around, all kinds of good stuff to come.